What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dave Show. So I just want to start with a quick apology. It's been about a month. I think it's been like 31 or 32 days since I have posted a video. And for that, I apologize. But, sometimes life just gets in the way. Been having a lot of stuff go on and I've had to deal with it. But got some free time now. It's a Saturday night and I'm going to get some videos recorded for you guys and start pumping some stuff back out. And I figured the best way to come back from a month off from YouTube was to do a video about my new go-to general purpose, shit hits the fan, civil unrest, whatever, for all of those scenarios, my new rifle, which is this bad boy right here. So we'll get right into it. This is a custom built rifle. This is not an off-the-shelf rifle. And it is a amalgamation of Geissele and BCM parts. Those are pretty much the only two companies, manufacturers, parts that I use on this rifle build. But this is a 14.5-inch pin and weld AR-15. It's obviously chambered in 5.56. And I guess first, before we go through everything that's on the rifle, I'm going to explain why I had this rifle built and not bought off the shelf. So I've always really liked BCM stuff and I've always really liked Geissele stuff, and I've never had the money to drop instantly on a Geissele or a BCM because they are both northwards of $1,000, well north of $1,000 at this point. BCM's price has just been up to close to what Geissele's are. So even on sale to buy a complete BCM or a complete Geissele in October of 2025, you're looking at a minimum of like $1,700. And that's kind of insane. And so basically what I started doing was, for the last pretty much year, I started slowly buying parts for this gun. And what I did was I bought a receiver set, a Geissele receiver set. And then I bought a lower parts kit. I bought the buffer stuff, the buffer tube, the bolt carrier, the charging handle, the barrel, the rail, all of that. And I bought those. I waited for sales, and I waited for a lot of Geissele Blem items to slowly acquire this stuff all over time. And then I actually didn't build this rifle myself. I sent it out. And I sent this out to D. Wilson Manufacturing. I wanted a 14.5. I was going to send it to them for a pin and weld, and then, because I heard they had the best pin and welds in the industry. And then I was looking at their website, and they assemble uppers, they assemble lowers, and they assemble my whole rifle, basically, minus like the accessories that I put on it after I got it back. So if you guys are curious about that process, you got to make sure that you have all the parts that you need to build a complete AR, and then you ship it to them. They build it, and then they ship it back to you. Pretty simple, I guess, right? The shipping there, with like from where I shipped it to, was more expensive than I thought. I ended up paying like $80 to ship all the parts and pieces out, and that was based on like weight and box size. But then it was only like 15 or 20 bucks for them to ship it back. So I would really do your due diligence and try and cram this into as small of a box as possible. Like if you're going to send a bunch of parts out for them to build you a rifle, I would try and find the smallest box possible, because that determines some of the shipping price, and then the weight is going to be the weight, and that's going to determine the rest of your shipping price. But yeah, and the reason I didn't want to build this rifle myself is because I really wanted a rifle that was assembled with quality, high-end components that I can put a high volume round count through over years of use, something that I can trust my life to. And I'm not saying I'm not mechanically inclined, because I am, but I also didn't want to have the first AR I ever built to be my go-to AR, if that makes sense. And then when I was looking at everything, it really with all the like the parts or the tools, I'm sorry, that you need to buy to fully assemble an AR like this, and then I would have still had to send it to D. Wilson for a pin and weld. It wasn't really a big cost difference. Now that that spiel's over, we'll get into the rifle itself. So starting out on the front here, this is a BCM extended A2 flash hider. I'll try and show you guys to the pin and weld there. They did a good job, super clean. And it's just a cheap flash hider. I don't live in a state where suppressors are legal. I don't plan on suppressing this, obviously. The cool thing with D. Wilson too, though, is if I move to a free state, which is a goal, I could send this in, they could remove this pin and weld, and they could throw any type of suppressor host muzzle device on here that I would like them to. So coming back from there, this is a Midwest Industries fixed front iron sight. I wanted a fixed front iron sight because we all know the reason we use a backup iron sight system, right? So if my optic goes down, I don't want to have to flip up both the front sight and the rear sight. Like, I just want to be able to flip the rear sight up and go right back to work. So that's kind of my thought process behind that. But I did get the Midwest Industries, we'll get back to this, but the Midwest Industries fixed front sight, it's a standard AR front sight tool to adjust it as I flag you. And it was pretty affordable. Aside from that, for a light here, I went with the Streamlight HLX ProTac HLX. I don't know, it's a pretty solid light. It puts out a lot of lumens and a lot of candela, and it's affordable. Moving on from there, this is a Geissele barrel. It's a Geissele cold hammer forged taper barrel. I got this. This is a Blem Geissele barrel that I got on the big, I think it was 4th of July, Primary Arms did a huge Geissele Blem sale, and it, like, their website crashed. It was kind of a nightmare. Things went on sale before they were supposed to. So I was actually trying to buy some other stuff, and it all sold out before I even logged on the website. I was actually pretty mad about it. They shut down the Geissele Reddit page because everyone was freaking out. But regardless, during that Blem sale, I picked up this 14.5 Geissele barrel, as well as this Blem, see the little Blem symbol right here, Geissele handguard. I believe it's the Mark 16 handguard. It's really nice, though. It's a super rigid handguard. The only Blem spot I could find on it is right here. There's a little bit of a blemish there. Really the only spot that I found on this rail that had any type of cosmetic blemish. And both the barrel and the rail that I bought during the sale were over $100 off each from what a normal Geissele rail and barrel, would cost. As far as the gas block and gas tube, I bought a BCM gas block and gas tube. So everything on the front end of this rifle, the handguard, the barrel is Geissele, the gas tube and gas block is BCM. And then moving back from there, like I said, I bought this Geissele receiver set. This is not a Blem receiver set. I did pick this up on a separate sale. This was the first piece of this rifle I bought. I bought it on Black Friday last year. I want to say it was around $200 for the receiver set. So sitting up on top here, I got an Aimpoint Duty RDS on a Scalarworks lower 1/3 mount. This is a quick detach mount, as you can see here. Sorry, it's a little awkward trying to do this looking at myself through the camera, but you just rotate this tab and the thing will pop right off. Nice QD on and off mount. And what's cool about the Scalarworks mount is that when you buy it standalone, it's like over $100. But they have an option on your website where you can buy the Aimpoint Duty RDS with the mount for the same price, basically, or it might be like this is a $500 red dot, and I think it was $520 for the combo. So if you are interested in something that's different from the factory mount that comes with the Aimpoint Duty RDS, you can go check out the ScalarWorks website, and they do sell these, and they're in different heights too, but I wanted the lower 1/3, and they sell this as a package deal for almost the exact same cost as what it would be to just buy this Optic with the factory, riser, whatever you want to call it. I elected to put a BCM bolt carrier group in here. So I wanted it to match. I don't really care about the color matching too much, but I just thought it would look really cool to have the bolt carrier group match the receiver set. And then we got the Midwest Industries folding rear peep sight here. So it doesn't change like, your regular AR rear sight apertures. You can have a smaller or a larger circle here, depending on the, if you're in close or further away. But this is all metal. It's solid. There's no springs to worry about. You just flip it up and down with your fingers, which is awesome. I have a Geissele, I think it's the super charging handle in here. We're going to see how this goes because these handles parts, I guess you want to call it, do stick out a little further than I'd like them to. But we'll see. If it doesn't snag on stuff, I won't replace it. If it does snag on stuff, I will get a more slimmed down ambi charging handle for the gun. The lower parts kit is a BCM lower parts kit, BCM trigger, BCM grip. This is not the BCM grip that came in the lower parts kit. This is I think it's like the Jack Carr edition. I thought it was cool because it had the tomahawks versus the other one that I got in the lower parts kit, but this was only an extra like $20. I got the lower parts kit on sale for $90. Even like the forward assist, the dust cover, those are BCM as well. And then moving on back from there, we've got a Geissele buffer tube, and then this is a BCM QD end plate. And even like speaking to the build quality from D. Wilson, they staked the castle nut here in 2 places. Really clean job here that they did. And then moving back from there, I got a B5 Systems. I think it's the Bravo stock. I did have a BCM stock on here that I bought for this, and you're actually going to see that in the picture for the thumbnail on this video. But I didn't like the way the QD attached to that, and my sling was getting like bunched up kind of like this, and it was driving me nuts. I haven't shot this rifle too much. We'll get into that in a minute. But so I ended up taking that BCM stock off, and I pulled this Bravo stock off another gun I had and threw it on here. And I'm much more happy with how the sling attaches to it now. This is a Flatline Fiberco padded sling in OD green. This is my first time trying out the Flatline Fiberco slings. I usually run the, I think it's the Blue Force Vickers sling. But this is basically, the same thing. It's a BCM or maybe a Magpul QD. I don't know. I have a bunch of QDs hanging around, so I grabbed one to attach to the end here. And then I wanted to try something new. I've never tried this type of front sling mount before. I think this is like also a Blue Force Gear sling mount. There is a QD spot right here on the rail that you could put a sling swivel on, but I didn't really want that, and I wanted to try something that had a little more range of motion for the sling. And what's cool with this too is I can disconnect it right here, and I could move it up as far up as I want on the rifle if I want my sling further forward versus back here. Usually I do run my sling attachments back here though, so that's how it's set up now. But yeah, that's pretty much the rifle, nothing really crazy, and I didn't go through and tally up the exact cost of what all the parts on this rifle totaled up to be, like with the sale prices and everything. But even when people do that, I don't think it's always the most accurate representation of what it would cost to put something like this together, because things like shipping and tax, that all varies like based on the websites you buy the stuff from, where you live, you name it, right? So I'm not going to give you guys like a total cost for this rifle build or anything, but this is, in my opinion, and if this thing ends up shitting the bed on me early or something, I'll change my tune and I'll come on here and tell you guys about it. But I wanted the highest quality and best parts put into this that I could get. And since I couldn't go to the store and drop like 1,700, $2,000, whatever, you name it, for a full BCM or Geissele rifle or a combination of the two, I just slowly acquired these parts over the course of a year. And then I spent a couple $100 to mail this thing out, get it put together, and sent back to me. So I have pretty much exactly what I want for every component in this thing right now. And I'm planning on just running the crap out of this thing. This is going to be my training gun. Every class I take, this is the go-to from now on. Geissele's known for their barrels. BCM's known for their bolt carriers. Like, you name it. Like, all the best parts I could get for this gun is what I got and what ended up in it. So it's kind of an alternative for you guys if you are on a budget and you already have an okay rifle at home, and you want something of a high quality, but you can't afford it right now. You can always kind of go this route and just slowly acquire the parts and pieces over time and then send it out or build it yourself even. But like I said, if you've never built one before, you may not want the first rifle you build to be your go-to rifle. One thing I forgot to mention, random, but I got a Geissele Super 42 spring and H1 buffer in here as well, and it does shoot very smooth. This gun has only got about 100 rounds through it so far. I got it in the mail. I threw the attachments on. I took it to the range, and I zeroed the irons, and I zeroed the optic, and then I had to shoot my handgun for a little bit, and then I had to leave. So I am going to be taking this to a class soon. I'm signed up for a class. I think it's in November. And it should be a decent class with a decent round count. And so if there's any issues with the rifle at that point, I'm going to do an after action report on the class and my thoughts and my takeaways anyways, and I'll let you guys know how this gun does. But this is my new go-to. So if you guys have any other questions about the build, anything like that, don't forget to leave it down in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, comment, do all the YouTube stuff. Should have said that at the beginning. And I don't plan on changing anything on this besides, like I said, if this charging handle ends up snagging on stuff, I may change that out. I do want to get a magnifier to go along with this red dot at some point, but based on my context and where I live, I don't have these crazy long range shots or anything like that. And with my current level of experience with a rifle, which isn't like super high, I just want to focus on really dialing in on my skills and my fundamentals and everything else. And you can do that with a red dot. And this is going to be like the 80% use case of this gun. Even if I have a magnifier, it would just be unmagnified with a red dot if I had to guess. So only other thing I may change is this is a good light, but I would like to get a Surefire at some point just because they are the best in the business from what I understand for weapon mounted lights. But they're expensive. They're like $300 at least minimum versus I think the 150 I spent on this light. So that's pretty much it for this gun. If you guys, like I said, had any questions, leave them down below. But yeah, I'm just going to keep shooting this thing. It's going to be my go-to. If I have any issues, I'll report back. But besides that, that's going to be it tonight for me. And I'll see you guys again soon.